And another
Yeah,
job you have at Saturday Night Live is you actually trigger the theme song, the intro, right?
that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How is that done? Is that like a button, or is it like a kick pedal that you hit real quick, or like a guitar pedal type thing?
Yeah, there's like a little it's one of those little momentary switches like a boss foot switch. And um it's connected to an Akai MPC controller that has a foot switch input, and then that goes USB into the laptop, and it's assigned to trigger the start and stop of Ableton.
Hmm.
And we've also got the opening theme is set up. This mastermind at Ableton helped do it. Dennis DeSantis, he's such a great, really smart. It's set up so that sometimes they'll go live from New York. And then there'll be a pause, and then they might say it's, like there's these things sometimes live that are different.
Hmm.
And so it's set up so that if they do something crazy live, I can start it and stop it right away and then start it again. And it goes back to it's hard to explain how it will, it's kind of got a safety set up in it, within it
So
for
it's like a
those kind of
kill switch
moments.
that will basically just pause it and send it right back to the beginning, so you can re-trigger it immediately.
Yeah, and there's just a 2 beat count off, like we have it set up where it goes, it's Saturday night, and then we're into it. So like the timing of the 2 beat count off after they say that, because they like that fill to happen right when they're moving from cast to the pre-roll thing that has like the shots of New York, and they go through the cast members and stuff like that. Like they like it if that fill will sort of line up right with that cut. And that's always sort of a dice roll and a guess if it will happen, But yeah, so there's a foot switch by the hi-hat that I use, Boss FS5U, and it goes to this Akai controller and then USB into the laptop, and that controls Ableton. Yeah.
And so does that actually trigger the cinematic sequence to the actual video, or do they just basically take your cue and then send the video after?
Yeah, so they're running the video separate in Videoland,
Mhm.
and then we're just triggering the music from that. Like, I mean, we're playing live and there's a whole thing, but there's a couple like sound effects tracks and different things, like some clap things and different, stuff that Lenny's come up with. That's great.
Yeah,
That
I
we
noticed some
play
like
along with.
16th note, like trap hi-hat stuff happens in it. They'll like
Yeah,
pan left and right, that kind of stuff I've noticed.
yeah, 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 yeah. And there's party noise and crowd noise and different stuff like that's going along. And it's like a filtered out horn thing that's sort of underneath the real horns. And uh, but man, that's an exciting moment, every time we do the show, because it's a little bit stressful. Like, oh, are they going to say it? Are they going to say it fast? Are they going to say it slow? Or is it going to be in my foot's up? And it's like, but
Are you just listening for the cue, or does Don King, like, is he in your ear spitting, like, say like, okay, run intro, that kind of a thing?
yeah, I don't have Don in my ear. Lenny and Leon do. And so I'm kind of just going off of the line from New York. It's Saturday night. And then how long, like, night, or Saturday night, or not,
Now with all
stuff like
that,
that.
all of that stuff plugged into each other. Now, if there's one thing I know about audio and video equipment, is that it is the most miserable shit in the whole world, and that something can just go wrong, even though it's been tested a million times, and it does it, 99%, just one time, it'll just do something you've never expected. So has that ever happened where you go to hit that intro and then just like nothing happens, or like it glitches or something like that?
Yeah. Well, I've been really lucky, but I'm also like, it's something that I check, and I make sure that it's queued up. Like I definitely, it's like a cockpit thing with a plane in a way. Like, okay, da, 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 But once I wasn't there, and someone was covering the drum thing, and it was before we had this Ableton set up, and we were using the Roland SP 808,
Hmm.
which is it's an older Roland box, not the 808 drum machine, but this SP 808, which was a sample player thing. And it has a zip drive. So the bummer is that the zip drive would go to sleep after 20 minutes if you don't sort of always press it to cycle it up.
Oh
So
God.
so anyway, and it's hard enough subbing on a gig like this anyway. And so I think the zip drive sort of went to sleep, and it was live from New York Saturday night, and then you step on it And then there's this lag for the zip drive to sort of happen, and then this awkward pause, you know. So I think maybe that happened once, but it, you know, something like that's not the guy's fault. It's more about just the finickiness of, like you said, audio visual equipment. But, you know, there's that famous story with Ashley Simpson's thing where live on air, they started to play the second song, and then the track for the first song got triggered. And, you know, it was the drummer. The drummer had a Pro Tools rig by his floor tom, and it was his gig to sort of to do that. And I mean, I feel terrible. I feel like it's not really his fault. It's interesting. They had a set that was their promotional tour set, and I think after they played the first song, it maybe cycled back just to the start point of that first song again, as opposed to like then going to the next start point of this one song that was going to do anyway. So I think that's how that happened. And, you know, man, it's an easy mistake to make, you know.
I mean, sometimes electronics are just like I said, it's like sometimes no matter what you do, it's just something to go wrong sometimes. I swear. I mean, when you guys come back on like the 27th, something like that, I swear to God, I'm going to knock on wood. I don't want to bring up technical errors before you guys come back.
Yeah. Well, even if it blows up though and doesn't work, like we're set to play it live, because the stuff that's actually happening is sort of, I mean, it's cool, but it's kind of ear candy stuff. It's not like make or break stuff, you know. And there have been times, I think, where we've had to do it where something maybe, I don't know, on the run through show, I think there's been a couple times, never through the air. But anyway, the point being is that we can make it happen without, even if it blew up, it would be fine.